Hi guys, welcome to Election Night 2020. It is Donald Trump and Mike Pence versus Kamala Harris and Robert O'Rourke. So let's get right into this. Here's some preliminary data we have on this election. Trump's approval rating per exit polls of people that already voted is at 47%. Only 52% of voters disapprove. Kamala Harris's favorability is slightly lower at 45%, which may bode unfavorable to her and the final result, but the national polling average shows Harris up 47.7% to Trump's 46.3%. The HuffPo odds show Trump having a 23% chance to win, much higher than its 1.8% from 2016, and the 538 odds show him at a 41% chance to win, much higher than their 20% chance in 2016. The congressional generic ballot shows Democrats winning by 2.5 points, which might be enough to keep the House in their column. The unemployment rate is low at 3.3%, and Dow almost is at 32,000 points. Donald Trump has a plus 17 net favorability rating on the economy, but a net negative 10 approval rating on foreign policy and immigration. And demographics of this electorate, it's still a 70% white electorate, 12% black, 11% Hispanic, and 6% other. And here is CNN's final expert prediction map. They expect Trump to lose the 3 Rust Belt states, and they also expect Arizona to flip into Harris's column, while Georgia will be closer. And this is the Young Turks Chunk Yogurt's expert prediction map. He expects the Rust Belt to Ohio, Iowa, and including Georgia and Texas and Arizona to go into the blue column, as well as Kansas. And he thinks Arkansas will be just very close because it's Bill's home state, and he thinks that West Virginia is going to go blue as well because he believes Kamala is a populist of the people, as she claims, and Montana went for Bill, so he thinks Montana will go for Kamala Harris in this election. But it's 7 o'clock, and we're ready to make some calls as the results come in this historic election cycle. We got some poll closings from 7 p.m. Eastern. In the state of Indiana, Donald Trump wins the state of Indiana with its 11 electoral votes. It is his running mate's home state. In the state of Kentucky, he also wins with its 8 electoral votes. And he also wins South Carolina with its 9 electoral votes. And Vermont goes to Kamala Harris with its 3 electoral votes. That's Bernie Sanders' home state. Got some results here out of the state of Georgia, just a quarter of the vote in. Trump is up by 20, but a lot of this vote, I'm told, comes from the rural counties, so it's going to be hard to see what the final result will be. We'll keep watch on that. As well as Virginia, kind of a similar situation going on. Trump has a 14-point lead with 11% of the vote reporting, but it is very, very early. And Florida, we have some decent results here. Over a third of the vote is in. Trump has a 2% lead, so it's going to be an interesting state to watch as well as the night goes on. Here is the electoral map. Trump has a 25 electoral vote lead at the moment. And Indiana, we can project Eric Holcomb will win re-election as governor, defeating Eddie Melton. John Carney will win re-election as governor of Delaware, defeating Ken Simpler. And Vermont's governor, Phil Scott, has won another term, defeating Kristen Hallquist. And South Carolina Senate race, Lindsey Graham has won re-election, easily defeating Jamie Harrison. And now it's 7:30 p.m. on the East Coast. We got some poll closing times. The state of West Virginia, that will go to Donald Trump. Many experts are saying West Virginia will be Trump's most lopsided win in 2020. Ohio, it's very close. Some of the vote is in. We don't know where it's coming from, but Kamala Harris is a very narrow lead in Ohio with 18% of the vote reporting. North Carolina, with a quarter of the vote in, Trump has a narrow lead of almost 1%. And here is our updated electoral vote count map as it is. Trump leads by 33-3. And Jim Justice holds in West Virginia, defeating Booth Goodwin in the governor's race there. And Shelley Moore Capito wins the Senate race, defeating Mike Pushkin. And it is now 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We have a boatload of states that have data, and we're able to make some projections. Connecticut will go to Kamala Harris with its 7 electoral votes. Massachusetts with its 11 electoral votes. New Jersey with its 14 electoral votes. Delaware with its 3 electoral votes. Maryland with its 11 electoral votes. And the District of Columbia with its 3 electoral votes, and Rhode Island with its 4 electoral votes. Some Republicans have hoped it would be closer, but not this time around. And Trump has some projections too. He wins Tennessee with its 11 electoral votes, Alabama with its 9 electoral votes, Mississippi with its 6 electoral votes, Missouri with its 10 electoral votes, and Oklahoma with its 7 electoral votes. And Kamala Harris takes the state of Illinois with its 20 electoral votes. And we have some data coming in from Pennsylvania. Kamala has a lead of almost 20 points, but it is very early. A lot of this vote usually coming in from the Philadelphia area. And New Hampshire, Kamala has a very narrow lead over Donald Trump of less than 1%. And here is our updated electoral vote count map. Donald Trump has a lead of just one vote, 76 to 75 as the results are coming in here. And we have a new key race alerts coming out of Florida. Trump has a lead of 3% with 57% of the vote reporting. Ohio, he has taken the lead as well. Look at this, by almost 5 points with almost 40% of the vote in. And North Carolina, Kamala Harris has actually taken the lead. She leads by 1.2% with 45% of the vote reporting. Out of the state of Virginia, Trump's lead has narrowed. He now leads by just 4 points with 36% of the vote reporting. And out of Georgia, the lead narrows there as well, as he leads by 9 points with 40% of the vote reporting. And in New Hampshire, we can now say that Chris Sununu has won a third term for governor, defeating Joyce Craig. Missouri goes to Mike Parson. He wins a first full term as governor. And in Massachusetts, Ed Markey has defeated Shiva Ayyadurai in the Senate race. And Jack Reed wins his term to Senate, defeating Alan Fung. And New Jersey has elected Cory Booker to defeat Kim Guadagno for his first re-election victory. And in Delaware, Chris Coons has defeated Robert Martin in the Senate race. And Illinois, Dick Durbin has defeated Rodney Davis by a significant margin there. And in Tennessee, former quarterback Peyton Manning has defeated Carl Dean to be elected senator from Tennessee. Alabama, our first flip of the night, Tommy Tuberville has defeated Doug Jones, the former football coach, has defeated the incumbent who is very vulnerable. We did not see this coming, but it looks like Tuberville has won by a larger margin than expected. Now, Mississippi's Senate race shows Cindy Hyde-Smith has defeated Mike Espy. We can project that at this moment. And Oklahoma, Jim Inhofe has defeated Kendra Horn. We can now make that projection as well. And now it's 8:30 p.m. on the East Coast. We have one state to call. And Arkansas will go for Donald Trump and its 6 electoral votes. Bill's home state. It was one of the more lopsided Democratic states in the 90s, but the tides have turned and it is now a Republican stronghold. And now Trump leads 82 to 75 on the electoral map. And Arkansas Senate seat, we can now call for Tom Cotton defeating Josh Mahoney. And Kentucky, we can now call for Mitch McConnell. He has defeated Amy McGrath. Democrats poured in a lot of money into this race, trying to make it closer, but it looks like Mitch McConnell's going to hold on by roughly 10 percentage points. And out of the main Senate race, Susan Collins has defeated Sarah Gideon. A lot of people had talked about how she was more vulnerable this year, but it doesn't really look like that is the case. And we have a new key race alerts. Ohio shows Trump leading by almost 10 points with 50% of the vote reporting. And now we can make a major projection on Ohio. Donald Trump has won the state of Ohio with its 18 electoral votes. This used to be a bellwether state, a swing state, but it looks like Donald Trump, with his blue-collar appeal, has pushed the state aside into the lean to likely red column. As we can look at this map now, he has already hit 100 electoral votes. Ohio is the first swing state we can call. Even though it technically wasn't very contested, Trump outperformed the polls again here like he did in 2016, and this has to make Democrats nervous in terms of the Rust Belt. And now it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast. We have a slew of calls to make, as well as we'll get some new data from some more swing states that could determine the outcome of this election. New York will go to Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has won the state of New York and its 29 electoral votes. That is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton's home state. Maine's 1st district will also go to Kamala Harris with its 1 electoral vote. We can now make that call. Louisiana and its 8 electoral votes go to Donald Trump, as well as North Dakota with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota with its 3 electoral votes. And Nebraska at large will also go to Trump and its 2 electoral votes, as well as Nebraska's 1st district and Nebraska's 3rd district. And Kansas with its 6 electoral votes will go to Donald Trump. Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes also go to Trump. And now we got some key race alerts. So Wisconsin, Trump has a slight lead of about 1.5% with 12% of the vote in. Minnesota's very close, closer than expected here. Kamala Harris leads by 1.4% with less than 20% of the vote reporting. Colorado, Kamala Harris has a decent lead of 4.3% with 21% of the vote reporting. Arizona shows Trump having a narrow lead, 49.3 to 47.8, and if he holds Arizona, he has a much better shot at victory than he had going into the night. In the state of Michigan, Trump has a narrow lead here with a quarter of the vote in. We don't know exactly where the votes are coming from, but Trump has a lead of 1.3 percentage points with over a quarter of the vote in. Out of the state of Texas, Trump has a slight lead up here of 5 percentage points. A lot of this is the early vote, which trends blue. Texas was supposed to be much closer with Beto O'Rourke in the mix until it was found out of videos from 20 years ago of Beto O'Rourke snorting cocaine, which definitely put a damper and a scandal on the Harris campaign. Showed him snorting cocaine and then going skateboarding, and Mike Pence really hit him over the head with that in the VP debate. And out of New Mexico, Kamala Harris has a lead, a decent lead here of about 7 percentage points, but it's still early, and she probably will likely hold the state when it's all said and done, but we'll have to look and see what happens. Here's the updated map. Trump leads 127 to 105. New York was definitely a big boost for the Harris campaign in terms of the numbers standpoint so far, but Trump is performing relatively well in the battleground states like he did last time, so we're going to have to see who edges out in the end here. And out of Florida, with 68% of the vote in, Trump extends his lead to almost 4% in the state of Florida, which is very surprising. As well as North Carolina, Trump also has a lead here of roughly around 3.2 percentage points out of North Carolina with 65% of the vote in. And in Virginia, Kamala Harris narrows the gap here with 61% of the vote in. She's down by just 0.3%. And out of the state of Georgia, the lead narrows slightly. Trump still has a lead here of almost 6 percentage points, though. And in New Hampshire, Kamala Harris expands her lead slightly. She now leads Trump 49.8 to 47.9 with 35% of the vote in. Out of the state of Pennsylvania, Trump gets a little closer. He's down by just 5.2 percentage points with only 29% reporting. And now we can call North Dakota's governor race for Doug Burgum. And Louisiana, Bill Cassidy defeats Mitch Landrieu to another term in the Senate, as well as South Dakota, Mike Rounds defeating Billy Sutton to another term in the Senate there as well. Out of Nebraska, Ben Sasse has defeated Sarah Howard. The senator opposed Trump, but he will still cruise to re-election soundly in Nebraska. And out of Wyoming, the open seat goes to Liz Cheney. She has defeated Yana Ludwig to take the seat. Out of Texas, John Cornyn defeated Colin Allred. This was supposed to be a much closer race early on, but Cornyn really just ran away with it at the end. And now we can make a major call out of Texas. Donald Trump has won the state of Texas and its 38 electoral votes. It is the home state of Kamala Harris's VP candidate, Beto O'Rourke, but the scandal surrounding him really sunk her campaign in the state of Texas, and Democrats pulled all the money out of Texas by the end of October, and that allowed Trump to cruise to re-election in terms of the state of Texas. He has won the state of Texas. And the state of New Mexico, however, that will go to Kamala Harris with its 5 electoral votes. She has won the state of New Mexico. And our updated map here shows him beating her 165 to 110. So far, it's still very early on. A lot of states out there that haven't been called yet, but Trump is doing relatively all of the things he needs to do to cruise to re-election. And we can make a call out of the state of Virginia here slightly after, we're almost to the next hour here, and Virginia has gone for Kamala Harris at approximately 9:41 p.m. And now at 9:55, we can call the state of Florida for Donald Trump. Donald Trump's second home state of Florida. He has won Florida by a wider margin than expected. Remember, Florida has not gone to the non-incumbent since 1980 when Carter lost it narrowly to Reagan. But Donald Trump has won the state of Florida, state he worked hard on. It is his second home state. He has officially won Florida. So the EV count right now shows Trump winning 194 to 123 as he has expanded his lead. Even though he lost Virginia as expected, he did win Texas and Florida, which was a big boost to his campaign so far. Now it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast. We have several other calls to make here. Donald Trump has won the state of Montana. He wins the state of Montana as well as the state of Utah with its 6 electoral votes. Mitt Romney chose not to endorse Trump, but Trump will still cruise to re-election in the state of Utah, at least, so far. And the state of Iowa, Trump has a slight lead here. He leads 51.8 to 46.9 with 13% of the vote reporting. We'll be watching that state very closely. And Nevada, Kamala Harris leads Trump in Nevada by over 6 points with just 3% of the vote in, probably coming from Clark County. Our updated map shows Trump leading 203 to 123 so far. And out of the state of Michigan, Donald Trump has a slightly narrow lead. The lead narrowed as roughly half the vote is in. Trump leads by just 0.4 percentage points as the vote from Detroit starts to come in to edge out Harris. Now in the state of Wisconsin, though, Donald Trump has gained a much larger lead here. He leads by roughly 3.5 points with 35% reporting. And out of the state of Minnesota, look how close it is. He's just 0.7 points down to Harris so far with 34% of the vote in. And in Colorado, Trump is losing to Harris at the moment by 2.8 percentage points with 43% of the vote in. It is very narrow. We'll also be keeping an eye on that Senate race there, which is supposed to be very close. And out of the state of Arizona, more results here show Trump leading by almost just over 3 points here with 32% of the vote in. This is a state that will be vital to his re-election, and we'll also be watching the Senate race there very closely as well. But out of the state of North Carolina, Donald Trump has expanded his lead to over 4 points with 76% reporting, and it's looking like he's in very good shape in this state. And at Maine at large, it looks like with a third of the vote in, Harris has a lead of over 2 points, almost 2.5 points there. And in the state of Georgia, Kamala Harris gets very close as the Atlanta and the Atlanta suburbs come in, mainly for Harris. 71% of the vote is reporting. Trump leads by just under 4 percentage points so far. And in New Hampshire, Kamala Harris still has a lead there by over 1 percentage points with just over half the vote in. And in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump gets even a little closer here. He's just under 3 percentage points down with just 40% of the vote in. If Trump wins Pennsylvania, he is probably going to win re-election. But out of the state of Utah, we can make a governor projection. Spencer Cox has defeated Peter Caroon. And in the Senate seat in Georgia, very hard fought in the Atlanta suburbs, but David Perdue edges out Jon Ossoff to win the seat back for another term in the Senate. David Perdue has won. And out of the state of Georgia, we can also make a big call for president. Donald Trump has won the state of Georgia and its 16 electoral votes, a crucial swing state that was given more attention to than other states in recent years, but it looks like Donald Trump has edged out Georgia nearly by his 2016 margin, so it may be that the campaigns were a little misled by some of the polls there that showed it being very, very close in terms of just thousands, of just tens of thousands of votes there. But out of North Carolina, we also can make a major projection for Donald Trump. Donald Trump will win the state of North Carolina. It is a state that has trended red, I guess, every year since 2008. Now it's going to be interesting to see if or when that turns the tide back in the Democrats' direction. And in Maine's 2nd district, we can now call Donald Trump. It's a district that went for Trump and Obama by over 10 points, but the district has gone for Trump convincingly this time around. And his updated electoral vote map shows Trump leading 235 to 123 so far. He has done very, very well, done everything he's needed to do so far. He just needs to win one Rust Belt state and or Arizona in order to hold on to this presidency post. And we can make a major call out of Iowa for the Senate race. Joni Ernst has defeated J.D. Scholten. And we got another call here out of Virginia. Mark Warner defeating Kirk Cox in a narrower than expected election cycle in Virginia. Warner was plagued by the scandals that have occurred on Capitol Hill up in Richmond, but Kirk Cox failed to really capitalize on all the advantage he did in terms of that, but he does set himself up for a potential gubernatorial bid next year. And in the state of Iowa, we can make a call for Donald Trump. Democrats had hoped for Iowa in terms of the tariffs, but Harris was not able to make a convincing argument to Iowa voters. Trump will win it. The call for Kansas here. Chris Kobach has defeated Nancy Boyda to win the Kansas Senate seat. And this says a lot because Chris Kobach was under a lot of scrutiny, very controversial candidate, and it was much closer than the presidential race in Kansas. But Kobach has held on, and he will be elected to the Senate, and he will be going there this January. And now we have some poll closings here at 11 p.m. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. We got some calls to make. These will mainly benefit Harris, as Washington State with its 12 electoral votes goes to Kamala Harris, as well as California, the big prize of the night with 55 electoral votes, that is Harris's home state. And Hawaii with its 4 electoral votes also goes to Harris. But Idaho with its 4 electoral votes goes to Donald Trump. And now Oregon, which is apparently now a swing state, will be going to, we don't know yet, but it looks like Kamala has a big lead there of around 7 points, but Donald Trump funneled a lot of money into Oregon trying to flip it or at least make it close, so it's really going to have to watch that in 2024. That could be a swing state. On the updated map here, as you can see, Trump has a 245 to 194 lead so far, with a total of 99 toss-up votes. Donald Trump needs just 25 of those 99 to be elected president, and Harris is in big trouble as we speak right now. Out of the state of New Hampshire, it looks like with 2/3 of the vote in, Donald Trump has taken the lead. He leads by 0.6 percentage points over Kamala Harris, and that is a huge development. And out of the state of Pennsylvania, the lead slightly narrows. Harris has a lead of about 1.5 percentage points with 65% of the vote in. A lot of rural vote outstanding there, so it's very possible Donald Trump is going to pull off that state when it's all said and done, despite trailing in the polls as leading up to the election. But Maine at large, Harris still maintains a lead there of about 2 percentage points with 45% of the vote in. In the state of Michigan, look how close it is. Just 1,000 votes separate Donald Trump and Kamala Harris with 67% of the vote in. It's going to be interesting to watch that as it goes down, but I think the Harris campaign feels confident about Michigan. Wisconsin, though, on the other hand, Trump has emerged here, and now he leads Kamala Harris 49.4 to 45.8 with 57% of the vote reporting. That is huge so far. In Minnesota, look at this. Donald Trump has taken the lead. He leads Kamala Harris in Minnesota by a half of a percentage point with 54% reporting. It's still early on. Things could change, but at this rate, it's looking like a great night for the president. And out of Colorado, Harris has a lead of 3.2 percentage points. The lead narrows slightly. 9 electoral votes here are at stake, but most people are expecting that Kamala Harris will hang on to Colorado regardless of the results of the election. And out of the state of Arizona, Donald Trump's lead it's now 3.2 percentage points with roughly half the vote in. This is a state he needs to win, and it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds, because if he wins Arizona, and probably he will win Wisconsin, he's probably going to be reelected in this election cycle. The state of Nevada, Kamala Harris's lead narrows slightly. It's a 3.2% lead as Donald Trump gains from the rural counties with 30% of the vote in. This is a state we're going to be watching for a while now as well. But out of the state of Idaho, we can project Jim Risch has defeated Mark Nye for re-election to the Senate. And Oregon, we can say that Jeff Merkley has defeated Newt Bueller for another term to the Senate as well. In North Carolina, a very contested race, Tom Tillis has defeated former Governor Mike Easley for a term in the Senate. It is an election that was very contested, more contested in North Carolina than the presidential race, but it looks like Tillis has hung on for now. And out of New Mexico, this will deal a blow to Republicans who are optimistic running Susana Martinez, but Ben Ray Lujan has defeated her for election to the Senate, but it does look like his district flipped back red in this cycle in the House district if it is a silver lining for Republicans. Well, now we can make a projection out of Colorado. Colorado will be going to Kamala Harris with its 9 electoral votes, a big relief for Kamala Harris. This is a key part. If she lost Colorado, she probably could not win this election. So she has lost the state of, she has won the state of Colorado and its 9 electoral votes. But Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin and its 10 electoral votes have gone to Donald Trump. And this is huge, because Donald Trump, all he needs to do is win Arizona, and more than likely he will win this election. So this is huge for Donald Trump. It's a state he worked hard on. The polls said he would lose by 3, but it's looking like he won there by a solid margin in this election cycle. In Nebraska's 2nd district, we can call that for Donald Trump as well. So it's looking like he just needs to win Arizona in order to win the White House at this point, assuming he holds all the other solid red states that are out there. I guess that would just be Alaska at this point. So a big win for Donald Trump as we look at the electoral map. He now leads 256 to 203. He is just 14 electoral votes away. He can get there with Pennsylvania. He can get there with Arizona and Alaska. So it's going to be very interesting to watch as the night unfolds and continues to unfold, because it's been a very good night for Donald Trump so far. And we can make a projection out of the state of Oregon. Kamala Harris has won the state of Oregon with its 8 electoral votes, a big relief for Kamala Harris. By a much narrower margin than expected. Trump did campaign hard in Oregon for a Republican. He went there 3 times in the last month, but he still loses Oregon to Kamala. And she gets those 7 electoral votes, so she is at 210. Trump sits at 256. And now we have poll closings out of Alaska, but there's really no data from the Alaskan time zone we're going to be able to get until 1 a.m., so just stay tuned. But we can do key race alerts here. Trump is up by roughly 1 in New Hampshire with 81% of the vote reporting. Pennsylvania, Trump gets the lead. He leads by 0.6% with 87% of the vote in. This is going to be very key to watch. There's still some votes outstanding from Allegheny County as well as the rural part of the state, so we're going to have to watch this unfold, but it looks like he's in very good shape to win Pennsylvania at this point. Maine at large, he has also taken the lead. He leads by a very, very narrow margin with 57% of the vote reporting. And the state of Michigan, he has expanded his lead. He leads by 1.1% with 83% of the vote in. So that's very good news for the Trump campaign in a very special night, as well as look at Minnesota. Trump is winning by 1.1% with 68% of the vote in. And out of Arizona, he maintains his lead of around 3 percentage points, even though the percentage reporting has gone up to 61%. And here is Nevada. Trump is getting even closer in Nevada. He trails by just 1.4% with 51% reporting. If he wins Nevada and New Hampshire, that is another way he can also get to 270 at this point. And now he can make a major projection out of Arizona. Arizona has gone to Donald Trump. Donald Trump wins the state of Arizona. That is huge news for Donald Trump. It's a state he worked hard on. There's a contested Senate race in Arizona we'll get to later as well. But this is a big win for Donald Trump. It is the late John McCain's home state, who was at odds with the president. A lot of Republicans there opposed him, but he still managed to come away with the victory today when it's all said and done. And now he's just 3 electoral votes away from becoming president of the United States. But here in the Democratic side, though, we do have a silver lining for them if that happens. They have taken the House of Representatives. They win. The Republicans are going to get to an estimated 211, 212, but they were unable to unseat the Democrats despite it being a better night than expected for the Republican Party. A lot of the moderate Democrats were able to hang on in these suburban districts, and that might be a problem for Republicans moving forward. But the state, and also the Washington governor race, which is more contested than you would expect. Bob Ferguson has defeated Bill Bryant for a term. The Attorney General of the state of Washington has won, and he will replace Jay Inslee, who ran unsuccessfully for president. In the state of Montana, reporter body slamming Greg John Fort has defeated Mike Cooney for the governor seat there. It is a flip from the Democrats to the Republicans. John Fort has won that seat, replacing Steve Bullock, who ran for Senate. And we have poll closings here. At 1 o'clock in the morning, and we are about to make a historic projection. Donald Trump has won the state of Alaska. It's a very small state, but he's won their 3 electoral votes. And Donald Trump has been reelected president of the United States of America. It was a campaign and a presidency with controversy. There was a lot of ups. Democrats highlighted a lot of downs, but it wasn't enough to take him down. He has become the unbeatable titan as he wins re-election for president of the United States of America. And he has currently a lead of 60 electoral votes, 270 to 210. And the Alaska Senate race goes to Dan Sullivan over Ethan Berkowitz. And the Senate, by that regard, will stay with the Republican Party as they look to expand their majority at this point. They haven't lost any seat yet. We'll see if they'll lose a seat in this night. Michigan Senate seat has flipped. We now can call this for John James. John James has defeated Gary Peters in an upset win in Michigan. James came from behind. He defeated Peters. He had a great grassroots movement, and this is a huge flip. And also Minnesota, this is an amazing call. Mike Lindell, Republicans wrote this off until Lindell announced his run in April of 2020, and he has defeated the incumbent Tina Smith. He used his star power from his business and his commercials, and Minnesota has a tendency of electing strange individuals, but Mike Lindell has become a senator, and it's going to be interesting to see how much cocaine he does with Mitch McConnell. And out of the Montana Senate race, Steve Daines has defeated Steve Bullock. Steve Bullock ran for Senate. This was a much closer race than expected due to Bullock running, but Steve Daines has hung on for the Montana Senate race over Steve Bullock. But New Hampshire is still very close. Donald Trump has a very slight lead in the state of New Hampshire. He leads by 1.3% with 94% of the vote reporting. And Pennsylvania, Trump expands his lead. He leads by 1.4 percentage points, the president re-elect at this point. And he also leads Maine by almost 1 percentage point with 71% of the vote in. And he leads Michigan by a slightly narrow margin with 93% of the vote in. It's going to be interesting to see if Michigan stays with him or not. and he also leads Minnesota by a narrower margin, slightly less than 1%, with 83% of the vote reporting. And he actually, Nevada, he's making it closer. He's trails by just 0.1% with 72% reporting. It's looking like he may have converted a decent percentage of Latino voters in Clark County, as well as expanding his turnout operation. So that's great news for Donald Trump. And we can make a major call out of Pennsylvania. A big prize of 20 electoral votes goes to Donald Trump. He is adding to his war chest of states. He has won here. He has won the state of Pennsylvania with its 20 electoral votes, and he has flipped New Hampshire with its 4 electoral votes. We now can call it that he has won New Hampshire. And here is our map, 294 to 210. 34 states are not yet called. We're going to look into these as well. We also have some Senate races to get to, and no polling out of 2 a.m. except the Guam straw poll, but that doesn't count towards the final result in terms of who wins. So Maine at large, the key race alert shows Trump winning by 1.5%. Michigan, he leads by 0.8% with 98% of the vote in. That's got to be called soon. And Minnesota, he leads by 1.3% with 94% reporting. Minnesota did not even go red for Reagan it voted for Walter Mondale over Reagan in 1984. So this is very, very interesting. It's looking like Trump might be the first Republican since Nixon to win the state if this holds. And Nevada, Trump expands his lead there. He, with 88% of the vote reporting, he has 49.1 to Harris's 47.9. And North Carolina, we can make this call that Roy Cooper has defeated Pat McCrory for the governor race in North Carolina. Pat McCrory, the former governor, failed to pull a Grover Cleveland as Roy Cooper cruises to re-election by a very, very narrow margin. Out of the state of Colorado, this is huge and unexpected. Cory Gardner defeats Kerry Donovan in what was a great night for Republicans. Gardner really played on the fact that he was unable to get a challenger that was very competitive. John Hickenlooper chose not to run for the seat. Gardner touted his moderate Republicanness and was able to finally pull off a win, doing better than expected in the suburbs of Denver. So Cory Gardner has won this seat back in Colorado. He was reelected for another term. And the seat in Arizona, we can now project Martha McSally defeats Mark Kelly in the state of Arizona. It's looked like Donald Trump carried her across the finish line there. Both campaigns ran very well. McSally ran a much better campaign this time around, and she has defeated Mark Kelly in terms of getting a full term as senator out of Arizona, but the seat will be up for re-election in 2022. In New Hampshire, we can project that this is another flip. Kelly Ayotte, who was the former senator, lost in 2016, has come back to defeat Jian Shaheen. This was a great night for Republicans in the state of New Hampshire, better night than expected in terms of getting the vote out. Republicans got all the votes out that they could in order to win these seats, and they flipped New Hampshire as a result. And Maine at large, this is a major projection as well. Donald Trump has won Maine at large. We don't even have on file when the last Republican to win it was. It was probably either in 1988 or even Reagan in 94 or 84. But Republicans have won Maine at large, so they've won 3 out of the 4 electoral votes in Maine. That is huge. And Michigan, with its 16 electoral votes, we can finally project that for Donald Trump. It is a state he won in 2016. Most pundits wrote Trump off in the state going into the night, but Trump still edged out a victory in the state of Michigan. And another major development here, Donald Trump has won the state of Minnesota. This was a state that voted for Mondale over Reagan. It did not vote for Ronald Reagan. It has not gone red since 1972, yet it finally flips red. A lot of the state blood red outside of Duluth and Minneapolis and the rural counties really pushed it through to elect Donald Trump as their leader. And Nevada, this is a huge flip here. Donald Trump has won the state of Nevada with its 6 electoral votes, and that is the end of the night. Final electoral vote map shows Trump winning 328 to 210. A very impressive night for the president. Most people again wrote off the president, and this also potentially caused the demise as Harris ran a very poor campaign really for the coastal elites, and she even struggled in places like California. In certain counties, did not get out the vote as much as she should have in that state. And we can look at the popular vote here. This is huge. Donald Trump has won the popular vote over Kamala Harris, 47.7 to 47.3. Kamala Harris really struggled even in California as Trump ran up the margins in his states and even almost broke 40% in California and New York. Really got the rural vote out in even those places, and he has won the popular vote, which legitimizes his second term as president, honestly, if you look at it that way. And the ending exit polls here, we can now see that men backed Trump 57 to 40, women backed Harris 55 to 41. The gender gap grew again. White voters backed Trump 61 to 37, but not uniformly. White voters with a college degree preferred Harris by 3 points, but white voters without a college degree supported Donald Trump by almost 50 points, which helped him pull ahead in states like Nevada, like you wouldn't expect him to, in Minnesota, as Harris really ran a campaign that attacked straight white males and their privilege, and that really ticked off a lot of people. And her campaign full of SJWs and Beto apologizing for being white really didn't help. It just made it look like cringe. And Harris was unable to get the black vote out for her as well. Unlike Obama, Trump broke 10% with the black vote. Despite Harris being part black herself, Harris only got 88% of the black vote. And Trump also improved with Hispanic voters, getting 31% of the Hispanic vote, and Harris only got 65%. And with other voters, Harris won 62 to 35. But alright guys, thanks for watching my first ever election night. Please like this video and subscribe to get me to 6,000. Follow me on social media, links in description, and donate to the Patreon, link is also in the description. $1 a month will give you archive access to all the live shows. I will put them up there eventually. I'll be looking to get some more patrons before I do that, so please donate to the Patreon, just $1 a month. It's a big help. Alright guys, also click on the screen for one of my other recent videos you may have missed, and thanks again for watching guys. Red Eagle, out.